friends. Today we're having a conversation with Fashion Supergirl Carmen, joining us from Canada. She's a young entrepreneur who started her own business called Ruby Aqua Accessories at the age of 15, and since then, she shipped around 4,000 different homemade jewelry packages to more than 120 different countries worldwide. Recently, she's been featured by the Global and Mail, a Canadian newspaper. And today, get a heads up and a preview on how to start your own business with us. I'll see you there, grab a coffee, and let's go! TalkShow. It's a pleasure and an honor to have you today.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited.
Hi. So today we just want to learn about how you started Ruby Aqua Accessory, which is a business that you started, as well as the process of starting your great business, and so how we can start our own business too. So first, can you talk about your inspiration in starting Ruby Aqua Accessories?
Definitely. So I think it was a little bit of a coincidence. I actually take woodshop classes at my school, and I was, in the room, and I found like this box of beads, and so I just started making some bracelets, making some necklaces, and me and my teacher we bonded over that, and so I started wearing those in around my friends and all, and they started to tell me like, oh, this is really pretty. Like, where did you get this? I would pay for this, and so I started to see like the type of market and like the demand for the product I was making. And so I started to order different types of charms and make prototypes. And with that, I expanded to social media. But moreover, like the whole inspiration came from the fact that I was never really able to find affordable, high quality jewelry that left my ears not stained or like not with like green marks on them. And so I wanted to eventually get to a place where I can sell high quality jewelry for an affordable price and, provide girls with really unique, trendy styles instead of just the ones that are flooding the market currently.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's so inspiring. Can you talk to us about the name for your business? So it's called Ruby Aqua Accessories.
Yeah.
How did you? Yeah.
So actually, I used to have one of my friends run the business with me, and her birthstone is an aquamarine and mine is a ruby. And so we just thought to combine both of them and do Ruby Aqua. We were considering Aqua Ruby, but Ruby Aqua just stuck better. And then the accessories is fed in with just, we don't just sell jewelry. I also sell different types of hair accessories. And so the accessories just encompasses all of that branch of products that I sell.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, can you talk to us about your audience? So who is actually buying and purchasing your jewelries?
Definitely. So when I first started out, I wanted to target more of consumers my age, specifically female. However, I do have a lot of men wear my styles as well because, it is gender inclusive. And so the target audience I mostly have is teenagers, people from all around the world. And so really when I started getting on TikTok, I saw that this whole target audience was actually changing because now I had people in the 20, 30 range also purchasing the styles. And so as I expanded my lines, I decided to make more of like simplistic jewelry to encompass that wide range of consumers and like a target audience so that I can have, a higher clientele rate and so that I can just, be able to have items that appeal to more people and, expand my business that way.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that sounds really interesting, and how you really grew from the beginning to like now having 140K followers on TikTok. So can you talk to us a bit about your business? So I saw like a little TM next to Ruby Aqua Accessories. Are you a registered business, or how was the legal process for you?
Yeah, definitely. So I actually am not too well versed in the legal process myself because I have people do it for me. However, I have registered my business underneath different types of legal documents in Canada, and registering my name, of course, trademarks, so that no one can obviously steal the branch or like the brand name Ruby Aqua or Ruby Aqua Accessories. And so like the whole legal process in itself, I'm not too well versed in. However, it is great to have people that know what they're doing, but also, they all like come back to me and like I have to approve everything. And so with that, you still have to kind of understand what is going on. But moreover, it's just like a benchmark, kind of like when you're first setting up. Obviously, you don't have to trademark a name at the beginning. That's more done once you've developed your company and once you have, the potential of having your brand name stolen. But that kind of comes later on. However, I do suggest to a lot of people that, come to me with questions about starting their business and how to register and trademark their names, or etc. I always tell them that it is important to know what kind of a market you're in. So it really depends on what you're selling. So for instance, I know someone who wanted to go into the whole brand, or sorry, the jewelry, no, it was the cosmetic business and the cosmetic market. And so with that, there's specific regulations you have to be able to uphold and follow, like FDA approval, cruelty free. And so with that, you have to be very careful with what you're selling, because there's a lot of legalities to it. So it's very important to understand what you're getting yourself into. But with jewelry, for instance, there's not too many legal requirements that go with it, which is great for me, because that kind of takes away a lot of the stress from it. But for instance, when I was like trying to sell lip glosses or had an idea of doing that, you have to have a specific way of operation for that.
Oh, okay. Well, what would you call your business? Would you call it like a nonprofit or youth-led organization? I don't really know, but for instance, if we're trying to start a business or an organization or nonprofit, should we like start filling out papers with the government first, or it's kind of like a second question? Or do you think we should just get started first?
So as of right now, I'm a sole proprietorship. I was a partnership, but I then transitioned to sole proprietorship. However, I believe that it's best to just see where the business goes first, because you don't want to go through this whole legal process and then eventually see that you want to make some adjustments to your company or to your marketing plan. So I think that including the legalities within the marketing plan is a very smart move to have a good, thorough understanding of how it goes. However, I think that until a business is, being able to make profit and you're in a position in which you're able to afford the different types of legalities that go with it, then it's best to proceed with it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you so much.
Of course.
So imagine that we are trying to start a business. How do we find our market? For example, you've been featured on, I have a whole list here. You've been featured on National Observer, Studentpreneurs, and the Global and Mail newspapers or networks. How did you expand, your market and really your business to all around the world?
Definitely. So I think what really helped me out was TikTok. And social media is a very, very keen asset in entrepreneurs. And especially with COVID's prevalence today, it really helps out a lot of teenagers or teen entrepreneurs, but also entrepreneurs just in general, because of how applicable it is to reach every single person. And so with that, when I first started out on TikTok, I wanted to understand what it took to go viral. Like a big dream of mine was always being able to have, a platform, a following. I think we all watch Charlie D'Amelio and wonder what it would be like to be her. And so, with that, I thought that it can't just be luck. I do believe in luck. However, oftentimes I feel as if we have a little bit of say in how luck is engineered. And so with that, I wanted to do some algorithmic research and just see what it took in order to, have a video quality that has the potential of going viral. And so I did like a lot of analysis with talking to influencers, just devising experiments of like, I hypothesized that this was the key variable, and then I would test it out with a video and see how well it does. And so overall, what I saw that really helped me out was viewer watch time. And viewer watch time, just to quickly explain it, is basically how much time someone is on your video for. And so the longer they're on your video without swiping, or how much engagement that they're interacting with your video, really boosts it in favor for the algorithm. And what specifically helps, if you have a long video that's engaging and a lot of consumers are watching it to the very, very end, and if they watch it more than once without swiping away, it also really helps. And so with this kind of information, I decided to, create a video that would engage and capture the viewer to the very, very last second. So to maximize the amount of hours or the amount of time I would get from that one consumer. And with that, I, created a in capturing video that, really retained the consumer. So I did this through means of a story, because typically when someone is engaged in a story, they want to find out to the very end what happened to you or where you are, etc. And I posted that. I actually saved it in my drafts for one day. I'm not too sure if that had anything to do with the ability for it to go viral. However, that's just what I did. And as soon as I posted it, I left the app immediately, because TikTok has this really weird thing of wanting you as the consumer to get back onto the app. So they boost your algorithm to get you likes so that you're getting notifications and so that you're more enticed to go back. And so I didn't go on for like an hour. And then I checked and it was at around 100K views. And so what I did was I actually used my parents' phones, and I set it so that overnight the phone couldn't turn off and it was just playing repeatedly on that video. So I would get like 6 or 7 hours from that video on each phone. And I woke up the next day, I had 7 million views on that video. And yeah, so with that, that was really a huge fundamental step in my journey to be featured on these different types of platforms and to actually retain a clientele. Because people, when they see that you have like a following, or when they see that you have a bunch of likes on a video, they're more inclined to purchase because they have that trust with you, because they see that you're authentic. And with starting a small business, a huge thing I'm seeing currently is a lot of people being afraid of scammers. And so that's why we more are inclined to purchase from Amazon, because we're aware with the brand name, in comparison to a small business, which we're fearing that we're not going to be receiving the product that we originally paid for. And so I think retaining clientele loyalty and just having that transparency within them also really helps. And with this TikTok platform, it really acted as a catalyst for me to get featured on these different types of platforms. And a huge advice I would say to teen entrepreneurs as well is reach out to as many people as you can. Don't always think that people are going to take the first initiative. I always say, when you're starting out, it's all about who you know. But just because you know someone doesn't mean that they're going to come to you. Sometimes when you're starting out, you're going to have to go to 100 doors knocking before you get an answer.
Wow, that's a great piece of advice. I learned so much myself, and I'm sure our audience will learn so much from you. Can you talk to us a little bit about your business? So how do you really balance, I think the global and male also asked that question. How do you really balance, your time with school and, your business?
Definitely. So I think sometimes it's a bit of a uncertain process, because there's days in which I get a lot of orders and have to really prioritize getting those shipments out, and others in which I have, requirements for school to update or to meet, and I have to prioritize those. And so specifically right now, I'm going through the whole university process and applying. And so it's just been very chaotic, just because I'm applying to over 30 schools. And so, yeah, it's a little bit hectic writing supplementals, but I've made sure to still be able to post social media content to the best of my abilities that I can, and to still be present on Instagram. And I think that after the whole process is over, and once I'm finally accepted, I will be more inclined to continue uploading content, just because I've taken a small little break right now, just to be able to prioritize what I really need. But overall, when I was starting off, when the video first went viral, it was during the summer. And so I think that was a perfect time for it to happen, just because I wasn't doing anything else. And so I was really able to, be very active and engaged with my followers. I remember doing live videos every single day. People would tune into me packing orders. And that also fed in with the transparency aspect of it, because people were really able to see their orders being made, and, not only saw you as this person that runs this business, but they actually saw you as a human being as well. And you would just talk about funny stories and, just kind of influencer things. But ultimately, when I first went back to school, I was doing online and in person. It was really weird. We would do every other day. And so when I was online, I would remember being in class and packing orders as well. And so I like multitasking. It really helped. I mean, being able to pack orders really helped improve my multitasking abilities. And so I think that just being able to understand your priorities is important, but also creating schedules, creating lists, it really helps me out. I love being planned and organized and have everything pointed down on a chart, of everything I have to do and what time it happens, because I just like being able to have the satisfaction of saying I'm done.
Yeah. I mean, well, if you have any free time, what would you do besides packing? Do you like to read, going outside, enjoy the weather, or yeah?
So I'm currently really into 17th century art and history. And so I love seeing the ways in which art and history co-align. And I've really been into going to galleries, museums. I loved attending exhibits. Actually, I went to Washington Smithsonian Museum, and it was a very life-changing experience, because I saw some exhibits that really stuck with me, and they probably will stick with me for my entire life. But ultimately, I really just like with my friends to look at paintings and analyze them, and just think of the different types of meanings behind them. I think it's really beautiful. And I also am really into the French Revolution. And so I watch a lot of documentaries on that, also a lot of movies. Yeah, history has just something that's always been prevalent in my life. And it's really nice to be able to finally, be indulge in that, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I think you're currently living in Canada. So what would you talk about as the culture there? Do you have any food suggestions? What season should we go to Canada, and where should we go?
Definitely. So I think everyone has the idea that Canadian people are really nice. And we are. We are a very, very nice population. I think that, you can walk outside and you can say hello to anyone. You can engage in a conversation. People are very, very inclined to talking, to starting conversations. We're just really friendly people. Ultimately, I think the food here that a lot of people try is poutine, because not many people know what it is. And just for the viewers that don't know what it is basically French fries with gravy, cheese, with a lot of herbs, and it's just really, really good to get to eat together. And Americans don't eat this. I don't think anyone else eats this besides Canadian people, but it's kind of a tradition that if you come to Canada, you try our poutine. And for the places to visit, I would definitely suggest going to see Obviously Toronto. Toronto is really beautiful. I actually live like 30 minutes away from Toronto, and CN Tower is great. Ripley's Aquarium is a must visit. It's very beautiful there. Overall, I would also say that skydiving is I'm not saying, I don't think it's huge in Canada, but there's a place that's really close to Toronto that I went to, and you can see everything, and it's just a life-changing experience, and just ultimately really fun. And you get to see like the CN Tower, you get to like, you know, see a lot of things. And then the CN Tower actually also has this really cool thing. It's similar to bungee jumping, but you're not actually jumping off of the CN Tower. It's more of like you're in like a harness, and you're attached to it, and you're like leaning off of the CN Tower, like at like a degree. And it's, my aunt actually did it. She loved it. And it's also really cool. You get to get like a lot of cool photos. And so I think that is, if you're a crazy person like me, or engage in like not usual activities, I'd say that was really cool. But there's also a lot of restaurants and just a lot of other fun things to partake in Canada that doesn't require any life-threatening experiences.
Yeah, for sure. One last question. So, of course, you started a great business called Ruby Aqua Accessory, which is just making jewelries and so much more for a young audience and teenagers or above. If anybody, for our young audience and superheroes worldwide, if they want to start a business, a nonprofit, what would be one advice that you would give them, that you've learned from your experience?
Definitely. So I would say that perseverance is integral. And without perseverance, without having the ability to overlook of what people are saying, what other people's judgments are, and not having that cloud your experiences is integral. And I personally had an experience in which people told me that my business would fail, that I would never succeed, and that it's embarrassing. I was actually told in my computer science class. I was also told by my dad to quit my business as soon as COVID started because it wasn't doing well. And I would say, like, if you have a passion, if you really see yourself partake or doing this, and you see, like, you envision it, and you've put in so much work, don't let anyone stop you. Like, it's so cliche to say, like, don't say let anyone stop you, but genuinely, you have to have the mindset that you will accomplish great things, and that you have the ability to do so. And I think that there's a lot of things that people say business is a game of luck, and that it's very based off of luck, and being at the right place at the right time. So although a lot of that feeds into the result, I think that us as humans have a lot of engineering to do in the process. And if you really want something to work, you will find a way. You will perform research on a certain algorithm and make sure your content goes to according to plan. So if you really see yourself doing something, you won't let anyone stop you. But additionally, if you want to enhance something that's not going your way, you'll also find a way. And the last piece of advice I would say, which I've kind of touched upon earlier, is you have to be able to talk to as many people as you can to get all the opportunities that you see yourself getting. And don't ever be afraid to ask, because the worst thing that they can say is no. And the best thing that they can say is yes. And you never know where that leads you. And being able to communicate with people and have no fear in the whole process and just be confident, it helps you out so much, because you'll meet a lot of people that will mentor you. You'll have great experiences. Even if they're bad experiences, you'll still have those. And no experiences are lost or are in hindsight not important, because everything happens for a reason, and everything will help you out within your company and growing it.
Wow. But on that note, I just have another question that I thought. So reaching out to other people and growing that way, you've been featured on multiple networks and media about, your business, Ruby Aqua Accessories. How did those opportunities came about? Did they reach out to you, and, how did it go from there?
Definitely. So I remember thinking, because when I first started my company, I had a lot of mentors I would look onto social media and people that I wanted to, kind of be like. I think everyone has those people that we just really want to, be able to be like them. And I remember them talking about how they were featured on this, how they featured on this, how they were featured on this. And so I naturally associated going viral or achieving greatness with the amount of opportunities that you will get. And, just because you achieve something or you've done something great doesn't mean that everyone in the world will just come bowing down to your knees and wants to feature you in something. Like, it doesn't really happen like that. And I remember like going viral and saying, oh, wow, like this will potentially lead to me being in like a newspaper or something. And it didn't happen. And it took like a year for that to happen. And I was like, whoa, what is going on? And like, the whole thing was like no one really knew, how are reporters supposed to be on TikTok and see these kind of content? Like they don't really do that, or at least they don't do it like we teens or like we, young people really do, because we're two different types of generations and two different types of ways of reaching people. And LinkedIn, I'll touch upon LinkedIn in a second, but I remember reaching out to about 30 different types of news anchors, or not news anchors, like reporters, publishers, and I sent them like the same kind of formatted email. But I remember this one, the first person that ever wrote about me, their name was Morgan Sharp, and I remember reaching out to them and wanting them exactly to write about me, because I read a lot of their work and was really engaged with it. And they actually wrote an article about one of my friends, and so I just thought it would like naturally work. And they were the first person I sent the email to, and I sent like around 30 others. The 30 others didn't respond. They were the ones that responded, and they they were actually very really great to work with. It was like we scheduled a meeting the next day, we talked for a bit, and then the article was published 2 days after. And so I was like, whoa, that was like really, really fast. And because of that, that was actually published in the National Observer. It was also published in the Toronto Star, which Toronto Star is like the main one we have in Toronto, like for all, it's kind of like the Wall Street Journal. And because of that, a lot of other other platforms were seeing my content. Thank you. We're seeing my content and just reading about me. And I think that opened the door a lot of the times to other articles that were published about me. And then there was this one other person that reached out to me that was from the Globe and Mail, and they actually viewed my TikTok content for a very long time. And so I was surprised, because I didn't actually think that reporters were on TikTok or on these types of platforms. And it was great with that experience. Like with that experience, even during COVID, we had a photographer come to my house. Of course, we took COVID precautions, but we both wear masks. And she took a huge photo shoot of me doing like packing jewelry, and it was awesome. It was a great experience. And that was just another way. But I'd say like a lot of the times, none of these articles would have happened if I wasn't the one that reached out to them first. And don't ever be shy to do that, because you never know where the opportunity will end you up at, and what it will lead to.
Wow, thank you so much, Carmen. You are officially my superstar. Like I really look up to you, and I'm sure all our audience are doing the same. So to everyone that's watching, make sure you guys follow Carmen's TikTok and Instagram, and also take a look at Ruby Aqua Accessory and purchase something there, maybe. Thank you so much, Fashion Supergirl. See you next time. It's an honor to talk to you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.